This is the 49 Carats Prospect Spotlight. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Prospect Spotlight, where you get a chance to learn more about NFL draft hopefuls. I'm Steph Sanchez. Today, I am joined by University of British Columbia offensive lineman Theo Benedet. Theo, how you doing?
Great. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. And as I prepare for these interviews, I do research on, everyone, and I've looked up, stuff about yourself. And I know, obviously you're playing in the University of British Columbia. So for those of us who aren't aware of the Canadian football landscape and what that is like, tell us a bit about that and why you felt, UBC was the right college for you to grow and get your opportunity as a football player.
Yeah. So Canada, we have I know some of the Americans aren't aware of it. We have our own thriving ecosystem for college football. We got 27 teams across the country. We're UBC obviously is in Vancouver on the West Coast, and they go all the way across. We play in kind of the Western Conference with 6 other teams from the region. And then once you play in the winner of each conference, then goes out of conference and competes for the national title. And so, yeah, my experience in Canada was great. I came out of high school kind of in a spot where I had to make a decision of if I wanted to go down and pursue NCAA opportunities or stay up in Canada. I ended up staying at UBC, firstly, because I wanted to be close to home still with my family. My mom actually works at the university, so that was
Okay,
really close
nice.
to home. And then and I just felt the coaching staff at UBC, Coach Nell, the head coach, had a really special plan for me and had a good vision for me, which I think has panned out.
Yeah, and that's definitely important, feeling like you're in a place that's the right fit for you and a place that feels like home. Um, I know that a lot of people felt a way about you, ultimately deciding to return for another year at
Yeah,
UBC after, starting the draft process a bit. Last year you even participated in the Shrine Bowl,
yeah.
and then you decided to defer. What was the ultimate deciding factor for you wanting to return? Like, walk me through that decision because, I have to imagine it wasn't an easy one.
No, definitely not. I mean, I think definitely my path at this point in the draft process has definitely been unorthodox. The rules in Canada kind of allow for that in terms of going back to school, even if you've kind of gone through part of the pro process, which obviously isn't possible in the NCAA. So in some ways, I kind of wanted to take advantage of that individually. I think it helped me last year going to the Shrine and just kind of getting my name out there south of the border. We had no teams come to visit during the 2022 season. Then I had 18 NFL teams come up to Vancouver this year. So I think part of it was just kind of wanting to get my name out there. Part of it was also, I think, just from a team perspective, I thought we had a really good squad and unfinished business. I wanted to win a national championship. Obviously, unfortunately, we lost in the national final this year. But that was something I wanted to pursue and felt like this was my best chance to win one. So it was kind of a combination of those two factors, and I've been happy with my decision since then. I think I've helped myself more with my film this year, and excited for what's to come.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like, teams really got a chance to see you. They wanted to see more. They got their wish, and now, they have a chance to draft you at this, time around. And as I understand, like, you had a lot of other like colleges here in the States like clamoring for you to transfer for that final year, right? I imagine what you had built as a player, as a teammate at UBC was important to you, and that played a role in you ultimately deciding to stay there as well, right?
Yeah, that was part of the decision, was if I was gonna transfer to an American school. But honestly, that part was not as difficult for me as whether to go back or not. I felt if I was going to return to college, it was because of what I had left at UBC and left to accomplish at UBC. And honestly, I didn't think I would be helping myself that much in terms of transferring down there. I said maybe I could bump myself up, two or three rounds. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel it was worth it. And yeah, I stuck at UBC.
And, I know you don't regret that decision at all. You had a great final year at UBC. And I mean, you were even awarded the JP Metris Trophy, which, for those that aren't aware, that's awarded to the most outstanding down lineman in youth sports, Canadian football. And that was your second year in a row doing that. And so that's impressive as well. How did it feel to get that recognition for your game in back to back years?
Oh, I mean, it's always fantastic. This year was nice, obviously, because I had all my teammates at the awards banquet for the national final, and yeah, I mean, it's a combined O line D line award. So as an offensive lineman who usually is a position group, we don't always get the shine. It was just nice. I felt to get us as a group at least some recognition, and all five guys we had on the line would be deserving of those types of prizes. So it was nice to represent us at least.
Yeah, and again, not just once, but twice. So definitely, like you were doing something right to be able to get that recognition. When you look back at your time at UBC, like what's the one thing you're most proud of when you look back on it?
To me, I think I was most proud of kind of how I grew into a leadership role as I spent more and more time at UBC, and in that sense, I think left a mark on the program. Like obviously, when you first get there as a rookie, like you're terrified of everybody, and you're just trying to keep your head down. And then as I grew and grew as a player on the field, I think it gave me some license to be more and more vocal, and then I think that kind of allowed me to help the next generation of younger guys coming up at UBC now who will kind of be able to step into leadership roles themselves as players. So yeah, I think hopefully I hope that's how my teammates would remember me.
Yeah, and I mean that's natural, right? To have a little bit of imposter syndrome when you're new to an environment.
Yeah,
So like when you get to the NFL and you kind of know, like, hey, look, I've gotten comfortable, or I got comfortable at UBC. I can do this again. Like, do you feel like that taking that experience from UBC will help you at the next level?
totally, totally. I mean, that's what I keep reminding myself with some of that imposter syndrome and stuff is that I've almost kind of I've done that whole journey of even coming out of Canada to get to this point. I've kind of had to beat the odds of being one of the few to make it to being an NFL prospect, and so I kind of understand what that looks like coming in as a prospect to the NFL of how to set goals for yourself and develop as a player and earn your keep.
Now, let me ask you a little bit about your game and, film study and when you're game planning, what are the things you look for in an opponent on tape?
Yeah, I like obviously with the way the game is now, and then especially in Canada with how much passing there is, like as an offensive lineman, you're recognized for your ability to pass protect. So I start individually with the rushers at least with breaking down kind of what allows them to be successful. I'll chart all their favorite moves that they've used. If they've beaten a tackle, I'll chart their move, and then I'll chart also what that tackle did to get beat. And that kind of helps me find patterns that I can boil down to more to simpler thoughts that I can take with me into the game. And then yeah, then along with obviously getting to know the individual players, trying to understand what they're doing as a defense to stop teams, I think can give you a lot of tells on what the rushers will do.
Now, you mentioned like Canadian football. I didn't know this, but like you mentioned that it's very pass heavy.
Yeah.
So what is your comfort level, with run blocking? I know you probably got some taste of it as well when you were at the CGS All Star. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, I mean, we were pretty relative to other Canadian teams, pretty run heavy offense. I've had good coaching in terms of that. And then yeah, the big difference coming down here has been not in Canada, the D line are a yard off the ball. And so not having that has been an adjustment just in terms of having to change your footwork. You've got to speed things up. It's a little bit more important to gain ground off the line of scrimmage, be sooner with your hands and stuff like that. So just learning how to adapt to not having that yard has been something that's part of the reason why I wanted to go to the Shrine this year and then the CGS this year is just to get more and more reps at what that looks like in the American game. So I'd be prepared to head into an NFL camp.
So what was it like, participating at the CGS All-Star, and especially after having done the Shrine Bowl, last season? Did you feel like that kind of prepared you and you kind of knew what to expect this time around?
Yeah, I think it helped me a lot. Like last year, a lot of the Shrine for me was just getting acclimated to the American game, American athletes, and kind of adjusting to what that looks like. And I think that showed at the Shrine through the week. I felt that was getting better and better every day.
Yeah.
And then it kind of gave me a platform this year to have some more confidence heading into the CGS, which I feel I quite honestly dominated in the practice. So, yeah, I think it helped me a lot.
I love that confidence. I mean, it definitely showed. I saw some clips too of you at the Shrine Bowl last year, and it looked like you were dominant. You were comfortable there as well. At either one of those bowl games, I assume you had a chance to speak to scouts while you were there. Were there any conversations that stood out to you?
Yeah, I think that was really helpful for me just to talk to scouts. I got a lot of feedback in terms of where they felt I could still improve, in terms of still adding weight, getting stronger, and then yeah, I think I got good feedback on scouts too in terms of it. Some of them told me that part of what will help me at the next level is positional versatility. So I learned how to snap even this off season. So that's kind of, I think, given me a lot of ground to work on. Obviously, going back to UBC and going back somewhere where I'd already been kind of one of the better players, having that feedback from scouts kind of helped keep pushing me.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I could probably imagine they like the size you possess. And one of the comments here is like you pointing out your size, 6'7", 305 pounds. Just really quickly, because I know that you are in training right now. Are you still at that current weight, or are you getting at a higher weight right now?
Yeah, I mean, gaining weight's kind of been a continual process for me since I got to college, and we're still doing that now. There's different goals, obviously. I don't know. We're not kind of set on what I'll come into the pro day at exactly yet, but I don't think I'll be playing in the NFL at 305. I think I'll be heavier than that once I get on the field.
Okay, yeah. And a team would definitely love that. I saw you play track too. Is that true?
Yeah, I threw shot put for 2 years in college.
Okay, okay. I mean, there's some athleticism involved in that too. Do you feel like that kind of gives you an advantage on the field? When you're going up against guys.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of translation between shot put and driving off your leg, and it's really the same motion as pass setting almost. And so, yeah, I think there's definitely translation in terms of the training and the practice for that onto the field. And like you said, it's just there's a athleticism that you need for both that I think has helped me. There was a guy who I can't remember his name. He played for 49ers and won an Olympic medal in the shot put too, a long time ago. But anyway, so seeing some guys like Jonathan Ogden through the shot put in college too, seeing some guys like that, I think kind of helped me see how that could almost help my game.
So walk me through your mindset when you're on the move and you're on a pulling block. I know you said that you don't do as much run blocking, but you did mention your team does more run blocking relative to other teams in the in the league. So what's your mindset there when you're on a pulling block?
Yeah, I think my athleticism and my ability to move is one of my strengths. So I get excited when I hear the quarterback call a play that calls for me to pull. And yeah, once I get on the move, obviously footwork is key, but then at the point of attack, technique kind of goes out the window, and it's just how hard you want to smack the guy, and especially when you see those little linebackers and DBs looking at you with the big wide eyes. It's exciting.
I love it. I love it. And I know you're preparing for your pro day at UBC now. What's a typical day of training like for you these days?
Yeah, typically we'll split it. We'll have more of weight training, upper body in the morning, and then speed sessions in the afternoon. It can really vary in terms of volume, but I'm probably in there for an hour and a half in the morning and an hour and a half in the afternoon on average.
And how are you using your me time? Like when you're not busy training, because You're training a lot. It takes a lot out of you. So how are you kind of relaxing and winding down?
Well, I'm huge on sleep. Sleep to me, I think people sometimes overlook it because they want to be, oh, I'm, working harder than everybody. I'm grinding harder than everybody. I'm not going to be sleeping. But sleep is the best form of recovery, and recovery is what allows you to work hard. So I'll sleep 10 hours a night, and then I'll take another hour and a half nap between sessions. So that'll be the main focus of my time between sessions. But other than that, yeah, it's just finding ways to decompress. I like to read sometimes, watch movies, whatever that I can kind of just shut off for a little bit. Yeah.
And you have your teammate as well, Giovanni Manu, going through this process with you. Like, are you guys training together, exchanging advice? Like, how are you guys leaning on each other through this time?
Yeah, having Gio doing this with me is huge, and just to be able to bounce stuff off each other. It still gives you almost, it feels like a teammate that's doing it with you, and obviously we know we're both going through the same things. He's down in Phoenix right now, and I'm in Tennessee, but just we're constantly talking, and how are you handling this? How are you handling this? What has this process been like for you? And just to see how the other guys doing and stuff is super helpful.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely good to have like a frame of reference
Yeah,
or just
exactly.
someone
Yeah.
else you can talk to. Just one more question from the chat I wanted to get in here. Gammon Brown asks, what's more fun, run blocking or pass blocking?
Run for me, it's run blocking. I mean, it's as an offensive lineman, that's where you pride yourself, just because that's where we can have the most direct impact on the success of the offense. Like, it's nothing more fun when you clear out a big hole for the running back and see him, galloping away. Whereas pass protection, I mean, it's nice. I get it, it's technical, but I can have a perfect game in pass protection. But if the receivers aren't getting open or whatever, I can't impact the game as much.
Sounds like Gammon definitely liked that answer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, you want to be able to impose your will on
Exactly.
someone. What better way to do that than in the run blocking game, right? So, and yeah, we love pancakes around here. So
Yeah, who
hopefully you're
doesn't?
dishing them out. Um, look, I always end my interviews with this question: what is a team or a fan base getting with Theo Benedet, both on and off the field?
I would say a guy who's obsessed with improving as a player, obsessed with maximizing what I can contribute to a team, and somebody who's willing to mold myself into whatever the coaches, want me and need me to do for the team.
I love it. Simple, straight to the point. I love it. Theo, thank you so much for joining me today. I know it's a busy schedule for you, so I appreciate you taking some of your resting time to hang out with us and let us get to know you a bit. And when is your pro day?
March 29th.
March 29th. Okay, so you get a little over a month.
Yep.
Definitely going to be following along. And
Appreciate
best of
that.
luck, in these
Thank you.
next few months.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it. And everyone that tuned in, thank you guys so much for the comments. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because there's definitely going to be more Prospect Spotlight interviews just like this one. For now, have a good rest of your Thursday, folks. Peace.